All right. Welcome to Maximizing Your Google Calendar. My name is Amanda Alford, and I am instructional designer here at West Liberty University. I am a former ed tech coach and also a former secondary science teacher. Working with me today is Corey Bauer. She is also an instructional designer. She is also a former ed tech coach, and Corey was a social studies teacher in computer science at the secondary levels. Corey and I are both remote, so if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Our emails are right there. We are not on campus, though. We are both in Indiana. So if you do have any questions, you will need to email us. You can also fill out a help ticket at the IT, and we get all of those as well. If you have any questions during this session, Corey will be moderating the chat. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it into the chat. Since we are a small group, you can also just feel free to unmute and say, hey, Amanda, can you go back and show me this, or we need more time, or any question or concern that you have. How this session is going to work is this is an interactive session. I will show you how to do a few tasks. I break it down, and then I give you time to do the same task. That way you can actually complete the task that I'm showing you instead of just sitting there and listening. You will need to be logged into a Google account. Now, this does not have to be your West Liberty account. It can be a personal account, but please make sure that you are logged in to a Google account. I will also let you know that it's easier to log in through Chrome. So if you're primarily using Firefox, or that is generally the internet that you like to use, I do recommend for this session, while practicing this, that you use Google Chrome. And then again, if you have any questions, feel free to make those comments in the chat. Excuse me. How this session is going to work and what our objectives are. The goals for this session is for you to learn to create, manage, and share events in Google Calendar, gain skills like how to find time with other eventees, how to make recurring events, and some other advanced features, how to enhance calendar with Google Meet and some other cool little tricks and efficiency tools. And then also I'm going to show you some keyboard shortcuts and some custom calendar views. So real quick, in the chat, how would you rate your experience with Google Calendar? So we've got a couple of different scenarios. Corey, you created this one. I don't even know what this show is. Which TV show is this?
This is Community, which is a show about a community college and a group of people there.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought it was
you can tell I watch a lot of TV. All right, 3. So good. All right, so hopefully by the end of this, maybe not a 4, but you will at least be more knowledgeable than just maybe. So what is Google Calendar? Obviously, it's a Google tool, just like all the other Google tools. It is free. It allows you to schedule and manage and keep your appointments and events. It does not have to just be work-related. It can also be personal. It allows you to share your calendar. So if you need to share a calendar specifically for a personal event, say, family get-togethers, family doctor's appointments, say one of your children is in a travel ball team, you can make a calendar just for that, but then it can also be for work. So if you need a calendar specifically for your students or specifically for your department, but then you also have your overall work department or your overall university calendar, you can share those calendars with other people in your department for collaboration. You can also set reminders and notifications. If you're like me, I live by my calendar. I cannot remember anything. And so I need a calendar to help not only remind me, but I also need the notifications of, oh yeah, this starts in 30 minutes. This starts in 10 minutes. So it helps me stay organized and on time. And then it can also be integrated with other Google tools, such as Gmail, such as Google Meet, but also anything from your Google Drive if you need to share that. So let's go ahead and get started. To get to your calendar, like I said, please, it's easier to use it in the Chrome browser, but log in. If you would like to log in through your West Liberty account, feel free. If there's a personal account that you would like to use, feel free to do this. This is kind of going to be a playing around area. So while we're doing this, you will need a calendar that you have the flexibility to play around in a couple of different time slots. Go up to the 9 dots, which is called the Google App Launcher. Some people also call it the waffle, but the technical term is Google App Launcher. And then click on the Google icon, which is the calendar, and it has the 31. It may not be right there. You may have to scroll up and down, depending on where it is for you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create and manage an event. If you have used Google Calendar at all, this is primarily what you have probably done. And so if you are used to creating events, please hang on. I promise I'm going to show you a lot more advanced tips and tricks here in just a few minutes. But for those of you who are new, I do want to take a moment to show you what it looks like to create a new calendar event in Google Calendar. So I have chosen a week with very little going on. So if you can see my calendar screen here, I have chosen a week that doesn't have a lot going on because I want to have an open calendar for you. So the first thing you would do is choose a day and a time, and you just click on any open box. So if I click once, this will appear. And this is the start of creating a new event. And as you can see, I can add a title. It shows me the date and the time, and I have a few options, but not all of the options. So to show more options, I will go down here to where it says more options, and this page will appear. This page gives me all of the options that are available in Google Calendar. Now, the first thing you want to do is add a title. So maybe a meet with Corey, give it a title. Then I can come down here and choose the dates. Now, by default, Google Calendar goes by 15-minute increments. That does not mean you have to stay within that 15 minutes. So if you're like, say I'm meeting with Corey and I'm meeting her at 10:17 for whatever random reason. When I type that in, Google Calendar will automatically adjust my times to the initial time that I put it in. So do not feel that you need to go by 15-minute increments. You can put in whatever time you need. So say you have a doctor's appointment and it's at 10:25, you can put that in and you can see that it automatically will adjust to those times. And my 30 minutes, 45 minutes, all of those also will adjust to the initial time that I put in. I can also choose time zones. Now, I know in West Virginia, all of you are on Eastern Standard Time, as are Corey and I. But if you are meeting somebody, say, virtually in a different time zone, you can set it for whatever time zone that person is in. So if I'm meeting somebody in Montana, I can set it for that time zone. That way, it also will set the time for them, and they don't have to do all the math of figuring out what time zone I am in. I can add a location if that's necessary. If you were just meeting people on campus, obviously they probably know the physical location, but you can add it in. So if I want to do West Liberty University, I can add that in. And what will happen is I can click on this little map and preview it. And there is West Liberty. So I can choose, if I'm like, I really need this to be in the admissions office, I can click on that and it will give me directions if I need those directions. So again, depending if you're using this for your work or personal, you can add them in and you can see the map. I will go over notifications here in just a little bit, but you do have the option for notification. You can also choose your color. So I like color coding things to highlight what they mean. So by default, it's this blueberry. But if you want all of your doctor's appointments in a certain color, If we have staff meetings, I put our staff meetings in a certain color. When I meet with professors one-on-one, I put those meetings in a different color. And that way, when I open up my calendar, I can quickly assess, all right, I have 3 meetings today because I have 3 green boxes. I have a staff meeting because it's Blueberry. My prep time that I work when I'm building out the courses, I put in yellow so I can see what that work time is. And I can quickly assess how busy my day is and what I need to do based on my times. Another thing that I can do, and I'll talk a little bit more about, is I can check my visibility. So if I have a doctor's appointment, I can make it private and nobody can see that I have a doctor's appointment. They can just see, oh, Amanda's busy during this time. I also have the ability to add a description. So as you get my calendar invites, I tell you this is the Zoom link, that it's, going to be 60 minutes, so I can add in the information. I can also add an attachment, so I can go to my Google Drive. I can do bullet points, all the normal editor content that we would have in a normal Gmail, or I could just create minutes. So the last thing I wanted to show you besides the attachments is I can also choose if something reoccurs. So if something is reoccurring, I can go up here and choose, oh yeah, I want to, have this every Wednesday. I can choose to do that by doing the customization or choosing weekly on Mondays, whatever days that I would like. When I get all of this done, making sure that I have everything. Oh, last thing I forgot to do is invite somebody. And since I'm meeting with Corey, I should probably invite Corey. Okay. Once I do that, I can choose with Corey if she can invite others. And I'm like, no, you can't invite others. Only I can invite people. And if I invite a lot of people, so say I'm working with students and I don't want them to see who all I've invited to this, I can also uncheck see guest list. And that means that the people who are getting this can only see their name. They can't see who else has been invited. So I'll do that, and then I click save. And it will ask, do I want to send an invitation email? Now, if I hit send, Corey will get an invitation similar to the invitation that you got from me for this event. If I hit don't send, Corey's still going to get this invite through her Google Calendar. She's just not getting an email. So if you hit don't send, that doesn't mean that they're not invited. They are. That just means they're not getting an email going, hey, Amanda just sent you something. So I'm going to hit send. And now this will appear. Now, how do I know if Corey's going? So as I can see, this right here tells me that Corey hasn't checked off on it yet because it's white. But if I click on this, I can also see that I'm going because I'm the organizer, but Corey has not clicked on it. Okay, so I don't know that if she's opened it yet or whatever, but I can tell that I have one waiting. But if Corey was to go in there and say yes, she would have a little green check mark. And so that helps me
to. Do you want me to accept so it'll update?
Yes, please. So if Corey accepts, it will have a little green check mark and it will tell me, it'll go from 1 awaiting to yes. And if she says no, it'll have a little red X and it'll say 1 is no. So that helps me with my RSVPs. So if you are, again, having staff meetings, anything like that, meetings with students or appointments or different departments, you can quickly see, oh, nobody's coming, or yes, everybody said they're coming. And that kind of helps you gauge what your attendance is going to look like. And last thing I want to show you is if you need to email everybody in that group, you can quickly do that from this link. So from here, if you notice, and again, all I did was click out, and I can tell that Corey's going because now hers is orange. But I just click on this. I have my check mark now. Corey's attending. And if I want to send an email, so say I have a long list of people, I just click this. And now I can quickly type her an email and send it without having to go to my email. So again, one-on-one, it's not that big of a deal. But if I needed to send an email to all of the people who got this particular invite, so say I think I sent this particular invite to, I think, about 10 people, instead of finding all of their emails and trying to all email once again, I can just quickly do it right through here and everybody would get that email. So going back to this, I'm going to give you a moment to do what I just showed you. So open up your Google Calendar if you haven't already. Select the Create button, otherwise known as just click on a spot. Name your event, set your date, set your time, add a location, give a brief description, invite a colleague or a test email, set a reminder, and then click Save. And if you want, you can even go out and make sure that it's saved out there. So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do this, and then we will move on. All right, we got about 25 seconds left. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute and ask or drop them into the chat. That way I can go back and show you anything that you need to see. If not, we will move on to the next task. All right, let's move on. All right, our next one is going a little bit more in depth with sharing and inviting. So again, I'm going to open up another. I'm just going to click on another random block. And I'm going to go down here to more options. And I want to have all of this open and full. So again, I'm going to add a guest. And Corey is always my guest that I add. But just for kicks, I'm also going to add Donna, because Donna will love this. And I'm going to add Marilee, because I need a couple of different people. Now, as you can see, all I did to add them was type in their name or start to type in their email and then hit enter. Just because I have them right here does not mean that they're automatically going to get it. If I'm like, oh wait, nope, she's not supposed to get it, I can remove her just by clicking the X. Okay. And as you can see, once I send the invitations will be sent out automatically, and that I could track them by who accepted and who declined and who has not responded yet. And I can give all the information. Okay. So again, going through here, I can also modify if I need to see guest list. So I'm going to just send it to Corey. Oh, I forgot I need to add a title. Important meeting. Click save. Now this time I'm going to click not send, and it will still show up on her calendar, but that just means that she's not getting an email. A lot of times this happens, especially if you don't want to flood somebody's email, or it's somebody that you work with on a normal basis. You can do it that way. Because every time if I was to click send and yes, Corey would consistently get emails in her Google Calendar. But say after this, I want to create a new calendar and share it with Corey. So over here on the left are all my calendars. Okay. And some of them are default, like your name would be by default. Birthdays are usually by default, things like that. And then there's other calendars that you can do. So say I want to share this with Corey. I'm going to hover over what I want to share. And I'm going to click on these three dots that say options. And a couple of things will happen. One, I can choose whatever color I would like my calendar to automatically be in. And two, I can click settings and sharing. So when I do this, this page opens up and I can give it a description. So if you know that this is a specific calendar just for appointments, you can go down here to description and type in appointments. You can choose the time zone. Your organization, if this is your West Liberty one, will be westliberty.edu. You can automatically add invitations to this calendar, but down here is when it starts to get interesting. Do you want to make it available to the public? Does that mean anybody who has access to your calendar can see all of your events? Also, do you want to make it available for everybody with the West Liberty University email to be able to see, or Google account to be able to see? So you can be like, no, I only want to be able to see, hide the details, or yes, they can see everything. Okay. Then you can add which people you want to be able to see this calendar. So I've already added Mary Lee, who is my boss, but I can add Corey. And I can choose what permission she has. So can she make changes and manage sharing? Can she make changes to events? Can she see all event details, or can she only see busy or free? Now, here's why you would need some of these. If you are the department chair, if you are the one who makes the appointments and the schedules for the people who work in your department, you probably don't want the other people to make the changes. If you are the keeper of the calendar, you don't want people to be able to make changes. But if your boss needs to be able to see your calendar and add to your calendar, they do need to be able to make those changes. So you need to decide who can have all of those, and then you would hit send. You can add notifications. So how do you want to receive notifications on this calendar? You know, do you want to receive event notifications for every event that happens on this calendar without having to go in and specifically say, yes, I want a notification. Yes, I want a notification. This basically gives you a notification every single time without you needing to remember to add. So do you want that? Do you want all day notifications? And then down here, do you want to receive news events every time an event is added, every time an event is changed, every time an event is canceled, your daily agendas? all of these things. Do you want to receive? If no, it stays none. If not, you get an email. So you can choose what settings you want to give. You can choose who sees it. You can make it shareable, and you can decide who sees what, even if they just have the same Google account. The other thing you can do is you can add a calendar. So if I go over here to the left-hand side of my screen and click that little down caret, I can subscribe to a calendar, which means I can ask Corey, hey, can I have access to your calendar so I can see what's going on? Or I can create a new calendar. So say this is for doctor's appointments. I can create a new calendar, give it a description, give it a name. Calendar creation is in process. It has been successfully created. So I'm going to go back here. And now my doctor's appointments are right here, to where anytime I need doctor's appointments, or say you need student appointments, say you're an academic advisor and you need a calendar just for your student appointments, or you need a calendar just for meetings, or again, it can be personal, say your kid's on travel ball, you can create a calendar specifically for that. If you're an adjunct and you are teaching here at West Liberty, but you also have a job outside of West Liberty, you can have a calendar that you can create specifically for your other job and keep all those appointments as well. And again, I can change the colors, I can change the settings, whatever I need. Or if I'm like, you know what, I don't need this anymore, you can just click the X and remove it from calendar. So I know that was a lot. And so this next part is actually a two-parter. So the first part is I'm going to have you share a calendar. And then the second part is I'm going to have you invite a guest or a colleague to an event. If all of you get done with both of them in the first 3 minutes, I will move on. Please let me know. If not, I'll run these 3 minutes out and then I'll move over to the next 3 minutes. It really just depends on how much time all of you working need. All right, you have about 30 seconds left with this task. Corey put in the chat that her private calendar has just events marked. That way she can budget her time for specific tasks, but her public calendar has meetings so that colleagues can find common times to schedule a different meetings or additional meetings, but they don't need to know how the work time is being broken up. And so just kind of giving you that indication of why that would be needed. Thank you. So real quick, does anyone need the additional 3 minutes to invite a colleague to an event? If you do, I'll be more than happy to let you have that time. But if all of you feel comfortable with this event, just say good in chat. Okay, good, move on, however you would like to do it. And we will move on to more of the advanced scheduling features. Good to go? All right. Okay. All right. We will move on then. Thank you so much. All right. The advanced scheduling features. These are the ones that they're visible, but nobody kind of pays attention to them. But they're actually a very, very handy tool to use. And so I'm going to go back into another calendar invite, and I'm going to go down here to more options. And as always, I'm going to title my email. So another very, very important meeting. And I'm going to add my guest, which is Corey. And then this is where it comes to if you don't already have somebody else's calendar. So I already know when Corey has availability because Corey and I share our calendars with each other. But say I'm Teresa, I don't have your calendar. You don't need to share your calendar with me, but I would need to maybe schedule a time with you. But instead of doing that email back and forth of here's the available times that I have, are any of these times good for you? And then you going and looking at your calendar and vice versa and playing email tag of does this time work? No. Does this time work? No. You can do this. So you can add an email in. And then over here where it says event details, there's this button called find a time. And when I click on that, automatically the calendar opens up and I have a side-by-side of my calendar versus Corey's calendar. And if I'm like, oh, wrong date, I can choose a different date and be like, oh, we both have a staff meeting at 10. Okay, that's not going to work. So I'm going to click this. Oh, well, I have an important meeting and Corey may have an important meeting. I don't know yet, but I can go back and forth throughout the days, just like this. I can scroll up and down the times and I can see what time does Corey have available. Now, you can also put in more people. So say I need to add Donna. You know, here I can see Donna doesn't have time. Donna's time is blocked out. So I can't do it during that time. If I go over here, I can see Donna's busy. If I go over here, I can see that maybe Donna has a little bit of time. But what this allows me to do is find time without asking, can you share your calendar with me? And does this time work? Does this time work? What about today? What about tomorrow? Excuse me. Now, however, this only works if the person's calendar is made public. So this will only work effectively if everybody has made their calendar public. So if their calendar is private, finding time won't work. So once I do find a time, so I'm going to go here and I just move this gray bar and I'm going to be like, all right, I can even adjust the time. So we're just going to meet for that. I just go back to event details. If the calendar is not publicly shared, there's a button down here that says suggested times. And if I click on this, this will tell me on this date, February 29th, what times all participants can attend. So I don't have to ask again what the times are. I don't have to ask for shared calendars, and you can keep your calendar still private, or somebody else can keep their calendar private, and I can still find available times that all participants can attend. So again, say it's this time, suggested times. These are the times that are available that all participants can attend for a 30-minute. Now, what if I wanted to make it an hour? I go to suggested times, and it tells me all the times that would be available for an hour scheduling. So after I select the time, I would finalize all the other event details, and I would click save. As I was telling you also, if this is a normal meeting, such as a staff meeting or a one-on-one, I create this for when I send out emails. So if I know that I'm sending out an email every Friday, I will have this on my event or on my calendar. And so I can make this all day, and this just will go all day, 24 hours. If it's not, I uncheck. But if I'm like, I need this every Wednesday from 11 to 12, I can choose weekly on Wednesdays, monthly, annually, every day, or I can do custom. So if I'm like, I'm going to start this today, but I need it to end on May 8th, I can do that. And this event will show on my calendar every Wednesday with this event scheduled up until May 8th. And then the following Wednesday, it will not be on the calendar. So I can customize what my chunks of time are. So then I would hit done. And whoever's on my calendar for these times, all of this would be set at 1 p.m. So again, weekly, and it does not have suggested times because of how far out it is. So if I was to change this, suggested times would be back, and this will come on their calendar. I would hit save, and it would go on Corey and Donna's calendar. I'm going to hit disregard, so Donna and Corey do not get random emails from me. So now I'm going to give you 3 minutes, create a new event, do all the event things. Does it repeat? Select a reoccurring pattern, the duration, and then either play with find a time with a guest by entering their email, or browse through suggested times and select one that suits. That way you can practice around with trying to schedule times and find times. Especially being a university, we all work with so many different integral parts of different departments. It is hard to find time with, say, admissions compared to the business department, education department, things like that. Corey says she also schedules reoccurring calendar items to complete her timesheet each pay period. Oh, so do I. That way I remember to fill out my timesheet, because I forget that every single time. So feel free to ask any questions, but play around with the finding time, suggested times, and reoccurring times. All right, you have about 30 seconds to finish this up. If you do have any questions about binding time, reoccurring times, or suggested times, please feel free to unmute or drop a comment in the chat, and I will be more than happy to show you anything once again before moving on. All right, our last two things, three things, are reminders and notifications. If you have ever created a Google event, you know that I'm just going to go back to this one with Corey. And to anytime edit, I just go up here to the pencil to edit one that's already done. I can go here and add notifications. So a notification this way, if I click on that little down arrow, a notification is a pop-up. So a pop-up is what appears on my device screen. And so if I select notification, a pop-up will appear, and usually that's something that you choose for like 10 minutes before your event, 15 minutes before your event. If your mobile device is connected to your Google Calendar, you will also get a notification on your phone or whatever device you're using. So just to let you know, if you choose just notification, you will get one on your device that pops up and says, you know, such and such event. So this would be Meet with Corey in 10 minutes or whatever time that I chose. But because I also have my Google account connected to my phone, I also get a notification that comes across the front of my phone that says, Meet with Corey in 15 minutes. I can choose whatever time I want. So all you need to do is go up and down, and you can choose time. You can also choose all the way up to days, hours, and weeks. Now, say you need another notification. You can just click Add Notification, and say you also want an email notification a day before. Just say, hey, here's a reminder. You can do that. You can set multiple notifications. So depending on your organization, how busy your schedule is, if you're like, I'm not sure, you can add notifications right here and choose all of that. Email or notification, these are your only two options. You can also, like I said, get multiple notifications. And then when you get everything done, you just click save. And because it doesn't change, and the notifications don't matter if you send them to Corey or whoever, that does not appear. Yeah, if you also hit the snooze button, you can do that and just be like, snooze, remind me again in 5 minutes, kind of like the snooze button on your alarm clock. Because of time, I'm going to move on to the other couple of things, just to make sure that I give everybody enough time at the end for questions. The next thing that you have is, if I open this up, you can also see that I can click Join with Google Meet. Now, I realize that we are on Zoom, and a lot of times that we do meet with Zoom, but if you are meeting with somebody and you know that they prefer Google Meet, what you need to do is just click this button that says Join with Google Meet, and this will appear. And you can go ahead and meet with Google Meet. You can also turn this off, give the ideas, anything like that, or just click that button. This is by default at Google Meet video conferencing. So you just click this button, it will create your code, and then you can go through and choose voice call options, phone number, anything like that. If you need to change it, you have all of those capabilities. Disregard. The other thing that you can do when you open it up is, if you notice, we have all of these up here. So it defaults to event because that is usually what we are creating. But we also have something called focus time. And focus time is do not schedule anything. I am working. I need to focus. Do not disturb me. Do not bother me. And as you can see, it will even come up with do not disturb. You have the ability to automatically decline meetings, new and existing. It will tell them why. And if you notice over here, there's a little headphone icon that says this is focus time. This will give you those chunks of period where you're like, I have a project to work on. I have X, Y, and Z to work on. I do not need a meeting scheduled during this time because I need to focus. And then you would just click save, and it will automatically have you save and decline any meetings during that time. And then I have my focus time. Another thing is out of office. So if you are going on vacation, say you're taking PTO, say you just know that you're going to be out of the office during that time, you can just have it as out of office. You can put a message here. Pretty much the same. You can choose the time. So I'm going to be out of office for PTO. I can choose this. So I'm like, you know what? Not only is it all day, this is lasting all week. You can see right here that this automatically grays out. It says PTO. You know, I can put vacation if you want. And it will change to that. And it lets you know all day, do not schedule. This is really good if you are taking PTO. If for whatever reason you know that you're going to be out all day, you can also make it private to where they just see that you're busy. You don't have to let them know what it's for, but you can make it public if you want, and then you click save. The next one is working location. Corey and I keep ours at remote because we are remote. We do that just because a lot of times when we're working with people, they don't realize that we're not on campus. You can put in office, you can put home, wherever location that you're wanting to work from. That is up to you. Tasks are kind of those little reminders. And so I put these to send emails, and this will, again, every Friday, remind me, don't forget to send emails. Don't forget to send emails. And they're just a little task that appears for things that I need to do. So submit time card, you know, don't forget to take the trash can up. Don't forget to send the electric bill. Anything like that you can do with tasks. The last one is schedule appointments. And what this works is if you are somebody who needs appointments scheduled, so say you meet with students, what you do is you click on this and set up schedule. And this opens up all of this. So say this is student appointments. How long do they usually last? You can set however. So if you're like 30 minutes, you can choose. On Mondays, I am available from 9 until 11. And then I'm also available from 12 until 3. On Tuesdays, I'm not available. On Wednesdays, all day. Thursdays, you can set it up however. And as you can see, as I'm doing this, these little boxes are appearing. And these are basically appointment slots. You can choose how far out your scheduling window goes. You can change the dates availabilities. You can even choose a buffer time. So if you're like, I need 30 minutes in between slots, or maybe you just need 10, you know, I just need 10 minutes to get myself together in between. You can do that. You can even choose the booking form. So they have to put their first name, their last name, their email address. You can also get to where they have to put in, you know, their phone number or custom. So course and course number, make it required, require email verification, and then you can also send confirmations and reminders. So you and the person who made the appointment will get a confirmation. The person who made the appointment will also get a reminder. Like, yeah, I need you to get a reminder like 30 minutes before because I don't want to just be sitting here. And then you click save. And then you can share this with your students just by clicking on this, copy the link, and you can put this out. So then the students can go through and set appointment slots. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is just some tips and tricks as far as keyboard shortcuts. So keyboard shortcuts are kind of nice if you need to quickly jump back and forth. So I like to keep mine on a week. Some people like to keep it on a day. Some people like to see the whole month. It really just depends. But if you need to create an event very quickly, just press C. Just by pressing the letter C, you create a new event. Say you need to go to this specific date, today's date. So hit the letter T, it will take you right here to this date. If you want to see the day, press D. If you want to see the week, press W. If you want to see the month, press M. If you want to press the year, press Y. I mean, you can go as far out as you would like. So I'm going to go back to the week. If you're like, I don't remember any of this, hit question mark, and it will give you all of these. So all of these will give you basically a cheat sheet or shortcuts to what all of these are. And you can also go here into the Help Center to see what this is. So just some quick little tricks that if you wanted to do things, you can also go up here to the drop down. You can show weekends if you want. You can show declines, anything like that. If you notice, there's also these letters. So, if you want to schedule A, 4 days X, year Y, it shows you all of those. And then you can also just go up here to the gear icon and settings. And you can play around with your keyboard shortcuts right here as well. So if you want to enable them, you can. If you don't want them, you can click them off. That way you don't accidentally hit something. So I know that was a lot, but I'm also trying to be very cautious of your time. So because of time, does anyone have any questions? I know that was a whole lot, but does anyone have any questions? Thanks, Zach. Again, this is recorded, so this can be shared out. If you don't have any questions, just to let you know that you can always go and contact the Office of e-Learning. There will be training available as we are creating it on our professional development page. And then you can also just visit Google. The Google Visit Learning Center will also give you things. So thank you so much for attending today. And if you have any questions, submit a help ticket to the Office of e-Learning. If not, thank you for attending.